Welcome back to Kin in Line. This is part 53 by my reckoning. So in the early 80s, I was back in East London, and you'll find a real mix of drawings here because I've stashed away drawings in different suitcases, and they will just crop up in no exact chronological order. But these seem to be from around 1981, after I'd completed those 2 years of military conscription. This seems to be the Bonsa Bay Beach, with looks like some sort of rain out to sea maybe, and a pterodactyl, I think that might be flying overhead. And just that classic wave that Bonsa Bay features. So this is almost certainly the sand dunes at Bonsa Bay, drawn from, it looks like from up towards Nahoon, looking back towards the mouth of the Bonsa Bay River. I must say this is the first time I'm seeing this drawing probably since I did it. This one seems to be a view up the Bonsa Bay River using a soft pencil. So there was a block of flats up there you can see overlooking lovely views, I guess, from there down the river. The river sort of meanders around there and around like that. And virtually almost every household in the village would have had a domestic worker, African domestic worker. And this one's just been sketched very rapidly. Of course, the Bonsa Bay pub and Hobnob, etc., the hotel there, were frequented, and this was probably done during one of those many drinking sessions. Yeah, I think we've seen this fellow before as well, one of the barmen or waiters. Just mere suggestion. Yeah, got a large drawing book, so I kind of just went large and really distorted this chap's face. This must have been in the Hobnob. Sorry. I was playing hard to get to. Okay, so another figure, just a very sketchy sketch this. Yeah, that's possibly my brother Alistair, bottom right. Yeah. At this point, I really didn't know where I was heading. I had a fine art diploma, 4-year diploma, but that's not going to get you a job in most places. I could have gone teaching, I guess. This chap sort of sums up my mood, I guess. Hunched over a bar counter with a bottle, glass, whatever. And another similar scenario here. Yeah, I'd forgotten how the hotel pub became a refuge for my. I felt a bit like refuse, I guess. So these are quite nice African faces here. And then we went to see a band. Now I have to introduce a girl I started going out with. Let's just stick to Anne. And we went to this concert at the East London City Hall. What was this band called? African band, sort of Afro jazz, really. And I did these sketches there. I'm sure the name of the band will come to me. Stimela, that's right. I think it means steam, and it's about a steam train. I think that's what they called. So there's the organist, bass player. We were about the only white people in the audience. But it was a good concert. Excellent music. He has a bongo player. I mean, he's got about 4 or 5 bongos there. And there's, looks like a bassist on the left. A lot of these African jazz musicians modeled their performances, I think, on the American jazz players and blues and jazz. And yeah, this seems to look almost American with his bow tie. But back to the Bonsa Bay Beach, and this again from towards Ganubi, looking back to Nahoon with Bonsa Bay on the right. And yeah, I've even managed to sneak a few people in again, and a dog. So using oil pastels, really. Quite a painterly effect. And then I ventured into still life drawing. I remember we had this shell at home. I should have taken it to me into the army, and I could have listened to the sea when I felt homesick, I guess. I think there's some drawings that have come out of this book somewhere, because I know there seem to be some missing. I'll have to check that out. But here we've got another pile of drawings as the Brits say. Come back to these. There's a lot of PFP stuff here. So when I was in the PFP working as an organizer, we used to compile questions for our MP, Errol Moorcroft. So this is a note from him with questions that the minister would be asked. And so he asked the Minister of, and I remembered this Minister of Cooperation and Development's name. I think that was Chris Hienis. So a lot of these are about forced removals. So you'll see the name Mgwali in the third line there. And this was a place near Stutterheim that was, they wanted to uproot and dump the people in the Ciskei, the nominally independent Ciskei. So this was actually 1984. My last year, I actually left the PFP in July of 84 to move to Port Elizabeth to start my reporting career on the Evening Post. So yeah, those are historic documents, really. I don't know, I've just taken potluck here, and we'll see what these, So I'll find the drawings I did in Mgwali, because we went there as part of our campaign too. So here's a drawing I did of one of the elders there. As you can see, sketched by Ken Bentley. This was an article, a huge article written by our 2 Eastern Cape MPs, Andrew Savage and Errol Moorcroft. And this shows how the PFP really campaigned for the rights of black people. I mean, they've been cast as apologists for apartheid, but these were people doing their damnedest to prevent these forced removals and all the apartheid crimes that were being committed by the ANC. National Party, sorry, the ANC have just about become like the Nats. Here's another one, letter I got from E.K. Moorcroft, Errol Moorcroft, also 84, April 84. Thank you for your letter of the 29th. I've been in touch with Priscilla Hall about problem in Mgwali and have tabled a question. So, and it was all done by snail mail, you know. Here's another letter from Moorcroft from Parliament. I suppose that's a bit of a collector's item too. As I say, I didn't really plan what I was ferreting out here, so it looks like we've thundered into Mgwali's. So I wrote this article in 1982. We got a visit from a chap from Mgwali who lived in Umdanzani, and his father was still living in Mgwali. And my brother Ian and I then went out with this guy, Kidwell Gidja, and we did a bit of research there, interviewed people, went to a church service where I did that drawing. And then I wrote this article for it was in the Daily Dispatch, DD, published on that date. And this is a picture Ian took of one of the houses there, that these people being uprooted after like living in the area for centuries, you know. It was criminal. And then among the sketches I did there was this one of, so Mgwali is famous because this is the home of Tio Soga, Tio Soga, who was the first black Presbyterian minister in South Africa, I think around about 1850. He went and studied in Scotland, married a Scottish woman, Janet Burnside, and came back and established this Presbyterian mission at Mgwali, and this was the church. I'm not sure of how old it is, but I'm pretty sure it's definitely pre-20th century. And that drawing you just saw in the Dispatch, it was a detail taken from this. So we sat in on this church service, all held in Xhosa, of course, so we didn't fully understand, but the sentiments were, you know, we reject being forcibly removed, because they wanted to just dump these people somewhere in the Ciskei. It was travesty, really. And these are two of the women that I sketched in the church service in full traditional. This is how people dressed. They probably still do in these remote parts of the Transkei and Ciskei. Yeah, I'm quite proud of this little drawing, I have to say. It's a real record of an era. So I think here we've got just more examples of questions that we submitted for response by the minister about these forced removals, because they were also targeting Duncan Village in East London, a very old township there. And so we also combated that Duncan Village was saved, but Mgwali, I think they were partially successful in uprooting this. This is just from the PFP newspaper. I wrote this little article about a fundraiser we did where we pushed. So this was our youth group. Interesting to see some of the names there. See Alistair Bentley, Donald Bentley, I'm sure Ian was there, C.K. Bentley, that was me. Ian probably took the picture. Yeah, so the PFP youth in those days was the Bentleys and whoever we could recruit. School children usually, matrics. Yeah, I don't know why I've got this is also from, it was called Deurbraak. There was Afrikaans as well. Yeah. And that was a good thing because Afrikaans, they held political power really, telephonically speaking. It's interesting. I've written a little thing about the phone. And it's, of course, about trying to chat up a girl on the phone. This is where we were, pre-cell phone days. And you struggled to communicate over a phone. I guess there was all sorts of problems. And I think this must have been just after I returned, or during my army stint, a little poem or whatever about trying to fit in on visiting the art school. And that was when I must have gone back there. Just to check out my old place, and one on aging. I'll have to devote a few minutes to reading all my wise words. But anyway, I think I must leave it at that. Till next time. Cheers.